What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Salty Runback, here to be your weekly intake of North American Developmental League of Legends. Week 1 of the NACL is over. The OQs are finished down in the quals, and Hawk, you and I had some pretty busy weekends. We were on the NACL, over on CBLOL, some good times overall throughout the week. A very successful start to the summer. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Like you said, it was a really fun weekend of League of Legends. CBLOL off to a pretty great start. I mean, all the talent, we were very happy with it, and Riot was happy with it too. That's all you can really ask for. And we got some really great OQ action. Grapes, this is the 7th straight OQ that we've been involved with, and like, it never fails to be one of the most entertaining parts of the entire split as far as like competition.
Yeah. There's always the issues of like waiting around for your games to start and things like that, but it's always a good time when you have so many upsets, so many games going on at the same time. Luckily for us on the selection committee, 15 of the 16 top 16 seeds did actually end up going through. We'll be talking about those a little bit later on, but reminder to everybody that you can, of course, follow us on all of our socials. If you have any ideas for future content that you want us to do, let us know. And I think that's about it. All right. I mean, we can get into it unless you have anything else to say.
Yeah, let's jump right in. I mean, of course, the qualifiers continue this coming weekend with the group stage, and Grapes will be on the show. All the games are going to be broadcast, so maybe that's worth mentioning. But other than that, we got some questions. Let's dive straight in. Grapes, you want to read off question number 1?
All right, it's headline time as we head on to our first topic. We will be starting off in the qualifiers as there's a lot of really interesting things that happened down there, but something that probably a lot of people were expecting was that Mirage Alliance, your number 1 seed, unanimous by the way, swept through the competition relatively easily. They went 5-0. They will be your number 1 seed in Group A of this tournament. Hawk, can anybody beat this team? 'Cause I don't know.
It's a hard-hitting question off the bat. No. I don't think anyone can beat this team. Look, I know we got only a 5-game sample size. There's a lot left to be done, but this team is just so insanely stacked. Their average game time was incredibly quick, and while I'm sure teams will level up, I'm legitimately asking the question of whether or not Mirage Alliance drops a game. Not a series, but a game. Maryville hardly did that, and I think Mirage Alliance might be a step higher than them.
Yeah, Maryville dropped one best of 3 to Team Fish Taco, which made them the number 2 seed in one of the tournaments. But other than that, they were pretty flawless all the way through. They dropped a couple of OQ games, but ended up finishing with 240 out of the 250 potential qualification points.
Yeah.
Now the points look a little bit different because of the fact that when you finish first in your group, you actually do get 10 bonus points. So I think Mirage Alliance is going to probably cross that mark, beat the 240 that Maryville had in the spring split, because this roster looks very, very strong.
Unless the roster blows up halfway through summer. But
yeah. I don't really think that's going to happen, especially because we heard a lot of rumors around the offseason that some teams in the NACL didn't have a lot of financial, backing to support some of the players in the league. And I think Mirage Alliance has been able to generate a lot of attention and a lot of talent down in the qualifiers with the resources that they have on their roster. And so you look at the talent across the board. 4 of their 5 players played in the LCS at some point. 2 of them were just in the LCS/NACL system in the last split. And then you have Dardoch and Alorm in the top lane. Sudsy qualified into the league at the end of the split with Tony Top. I mean, this roster is very, very strong. I didn't get the chance to watch any of the games all the way through that they played, but judging by the match times and the fact they went 5-0, don't know if there's too much else to say.
Yeah. Mirage Alliance was winning so badly against some of the best teams in the tournament that they got to the point where they just started forfawning. Like, if that really just tells you the story. This roster is so stacked, like you said. Mirage Alliance, they saw an opportunity, and they took it. The players, they saw an opportunity with the Mirage Alliance. It seems like they've taken it. This is definitely a team. I mean, I talked to Chad. He basically was like, none of the LCS Challengers rosters really felt right for me, so decided to come to Mirage Alliance, and I'll just promote in there. Like, that, not a direct quote, but paraphrasing it as best I can. And I mean, like, that's what the situation is with this team, and I think it's pretty clear that they were built to do exactly that.
I'm trying to think if there are any teams that I could think, oh, maybe Mirage Alliance could lose to this team. And like one of them that popped to my mind was Team Ambition, but we saw what happened.
Yeah, it wasn't close. It was not good.
Close.
Closest game for them was against Lit.
Yeah.
Which was drawn out a bit, but
and you know what, Lit's a very good team, so I would maybe give them an angle there. I think their bot lane gets outclassed a little bit compared to Neo, you know.
I think
but
everyone gets outclassed compared to Neo. Like, look, you might be like, Neo, that guy that was like 8th place in the LCS 4 splits in a row, but bro played in the LCS for like 3 years. Like, that is a little crazy.
Yeah. And dominates, you know, Academy / Tier 2 whenever he gets put down there. So he's been good. Yeah. I mean, I'm very excited to watch the rest of this team continue to the split and probably promote into the NACL. But we could talk about some of the other teams as well, because the rest of the groups also have come through. As we mentioned, 15 of the 16 teams did qualify in that we seeded at the top 16. The only difference was CB Gaming, the 17 seed, coming in instead of Lotus, the 15. But the groups are all finalized. Hawk, I want to give you the opportunity to shout out one team that you think could be a sleeper for this first tournament.
Yeah, Grapes, I'm not going to steal yours because I think I know what yours is. So I'm going to go for the one that I promoted last week on the show, 9 seed Froggy 5. I'm still telling you, man, the GVU boys, I believe, especially in a group with CCG was not convincing in the open qualifier, and obviously, you know, things are still new. There's a lot going on, but I think Froggy 5 really could potentially knock them out. I don't see them getting past Mirage Alliance. However, they definitely got a shot to make it out of the group stage. That's not my real answer, though, because, Grapes, I think you've got the real answer for a team that people might be sleeping on, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. Wait, now I feel a lot of pressure. I don't know. What if I say the wrong one? Wait. First of all, to talk about Froggy 5 for a little bit. They were playing with Nem9 in the mid lane for the OQs. I don't know exactly what the plan is. Maybe Mesla just wasn't available this weekend, but that is like an interesting thing to take a look at. I don't think it changes too much, but Froggy 5 did actually drop to like 1 and 2 in the OQs and had to like win their way out. So I don't know if I would necessarily put them as like a sleeper pick, because I feel like they're going to perform right around expectations, you know, right being on that border, maybe making it into quarters or not. But actually, the pick that I have, I don't know if this is the one that you wanted me to talk about here, Hawk, is actually the seed coming in, CB Gaming at the
Oh, no, it's not who I thought you were going to talk about.
Okay, well, let's talk about CB first, and then maybe you can shout somebody else out. But I watched the CB Gaming squad as they played against Young Buffaloes, the 16 versus 17 matchup, and a lot of my expectation was that I thought that Young Buffaloes was actually going to be doing pretty well because they had a lot of UCI players with a lot of experience. They had Carulian, who's somebody that we've highlighted before. But CB Gaming kind of took him out back and really destroyed them. I mean, and they went 2-0 on the day. There was a lot of upsets in round 1, which helped them a little bit. But CB Gaming was in a really good spot to make it out. They dropped their next 2 games but made it eventually. And I'm excited about this roster, specifically Klexo in the mid lane here. I remember when he was on Lotus last split, had a really close opportunity to making it in. I feel like he's been on the precipice as this younger player. And you look at the rest of the roster as well. JJK is a Fiora one-trick who was very, very strong, even on other champions. War Cyclone in the bot lane is a very kind of experienced player as well, but I feel like also has had its moments. And Mixture, I believe, was on one of the teams that like Native actually battled with in the OQs and put up a pretty good fight. And so I feel like this team could surprise, especially because, Hawk, we were talking about this before we started recording. I think that overall there are about 7 teams that the top 7 seeds, in my opinion, are like real contenders for maybe winning or finishing in the top 2. 8 and 9, CCG and Froggy 5. I feel like CB could maybe sneak in there with them.
I'd be here for it. I'd be a fan. The team that I was going to talk about, I really thought you would talk about this team because you were hyping them up last week. I think Aporia, also a sleeper team. After watching them, I'm more sold than I was before. Livacious, Kitsuo, Debonair, and Thralled Cryogen. Debonair and Cryogen, both rookies, they're pretty legit. That's all I have to say about that. And that was my concern, as I was like, ooh, might be too much on Thralled's shoulders to carry. This team played amazingly around bot lane. Kitsuo was a psycho like he normally is, and Debonair and Cryogen, particularly Cryogen in the bottom lane, like the lane phase was great. So, Apex Mission Impossible was the team that they were playing. They were seated right next to each other, and Aporia kind of destroyed them. So I also think that would be a team that you, as a fan, should have your eyes on, especially in a team with Cheese Chasers in the group. I'm still not super sold on Cheese Chasers. It's just like the Scooped team. So yeah, who knows?
If you're gonna give me another team, if you're gonna give me another team to like maybe overperform, it would have been Cheese Chasers actually, because
really. I mean, they are good. They are good. Cheese Chasers is really good.
Very, very good at this video game, and we saw it in the OQs as well. That was one of the games that I got to cast, and he really took over. Finished 4-1 because he wasn't around for the first game, and so they played with a sub. So he's won every OQ game that he's played so far this split. And I think this team actually looks really good. Kryra in the jungle, also a pretty interesting piece. Was part of the Evil Geniuses combine that they hosted between splits as like a rookie, and so now on this squad with Barrick and Aljun, could be a good contender to maybe make a finals run even.
That's true. Cheese Chasers are a very good team, but I think Aporia, I think they could at least make things interesting. I do think this is a good team, and one that I'm gonna be excited to see play.
Yeah, I agree. There'll be some fun games to watch. Again, you can catch all the action this Saturday on twitch.tv/RallyCryOfficial and RallyCry2. But we got to talk about the NACL now as we shift gears to our next topic. And there was a lot of really weird things that kind of happened overall. A pretty wild start to the split. It seems like a lot of the games were sloppy. Some teams were dropping games that they weren't really supposed to, and some teams were winning games that maybe they weren't expected to. Who is one team, Hawk, that has performed differently than what you expected, either positively or negatively?
Yeah. For me, I know we were kind of both down on them last time. We said that our thorn about this team was, let's see if they can finish past 10th place. Well, Supernova went 3-3 in the first week, and they played some okay teams. They split against Team Fish Taco, which I think is a result that we could have expected. And then they took down Wildcard 2-0 as well, which this is a conversation that is just in general an interesting one to have of, like, it feels like there's a lot of inconsistency right now in the NACL. Like, nobody's really figured it out except for a couple of teams. So, maybe wildcard strength, not super indicative, but Supernova played some non-affiliated challengers teams, went 3-3 when I expected them to not really be contenders. So I want to shout them out for a great first week and going 3-3.
That's a very good shout. I think Music played really well in his first week of the NACL. I mean, we were hyping him up. He was our second team All-Pro back in the award show for the spring split, despite only playing one tournament, but I think he was our second team all jungler, and then it was Odd Orange third. And
then it was Odd. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it was Dardock Music. Wow. Yeah.
And hey, he played pretty. I think Odd Orange played well this week as well, but got to give some love to Music.
No, Music's legit. Music's definitely legit.
Had some really, really nice plays on that Vi against Wildcard as well. Yeah, some good moments out of him, who I feel like was maybe a question mark coming in as somebody who's a little bit more unknown, just like he was for the qualifier team in the spring split. Some team that, if we want to think a little bit more negatively, I think maybe did not perform as well as I was expecting. Cincinnati Fear. Is that rude to say? I mean, they're like in the middle of the pack right now. I believe are they 2-4 or are they 3-3 at this point?
They are 2-4. They split with Team Fish Taco, which I think is not the result that they really wanted. And they split with Maryville as well, who's in last place. They got 2-0'd by FlyQuest, which I think is a little bit understandable, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's an interesting case for me, because when I think about this Fear team and how they played throughout week 1, I thought all of the players individually had some really good moments. Minui on had these really good Aphelios fights. Shochi, Syndra, I remember specifically playing really well. Perry, I think overall was probably their best performer all week long. And JJ was a very strong support player as well, like on champions like the Alistar and the Thresh. Philip also had some good moments, but it seems like the big difference is not necessarily individual performances, because as we were saying, like they've looked good individually this week, but they don't necessarily seem to be on the same page like they were in the spring split, because that was something that we really praised Fear for in spring, their ability to work together as a team. I feel like there was a lot of instances where they were maybe getting a little bit too caught out, maybe not super coordinated on fights, and that I think definitely cost them some games against FlyQuest where they threw a couple of times where maybe they could have won one of those games, and we'd be talking about this a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fear's I'm keeping an eye on them for next week.
Yeah, Fear's a weird one to me because I feel like we both thought that they might have slightly downgraded with their roster, but they were still 4th place last split. And so coming in and starting 2-4 is definitely a little concerning when the core of their roster did still stay together. So I'm with you. Splitting with Maryville was definitely unexpected. Honestly, they probably should be 4-2. Based on how they played last split, they should have still been able to split games with FlyQuest, I would say. Based on expectations from last split, even with the slight downgrade. So, yeah, I'm with you. That is not a good look for Fear, a team that, like we've said, they want to be at the top of the table. So,
yeah,
it's tough. And again, early split, right? New pieces coming in. It is a little challenging, especially when a lot of the players on the original Fear had all been playing together for kind of a while. They were all friends. So with Philip and JJ coming in, might change the team dynamic a little bit. You never really know. But, yeah, they're in 8th right now.
As well, right?
What?
They were all in the house. They were all in the house together. They're all hanging out. Camaraderie was a big thing with that squad. Now I'm pretty sure they're all remote, and it has to happen sometimes due to some financial reasons, obviously. But that is another thing that we have to keep in mind, and maybe that will affect them as they continue to go forward. But again, it is just week 1, so we can maybe hold our more of our criticisms until we see some more games from them, because I still think overall both of these teams had some pretty standout performers, and so that is a good thing to shout out.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of league left to be played in the Challengers League. Especially, remember, the format these days is double round robin, right? So, for example, Fear will have their chance to take down FlyQuest Challengers later in the split, which is also cool.
Yeah, that was a really good series, by the way. I thought FlyQuest played well, but it was pretty entertaining all around. We can move on to our 4th topic of the headlines, which does talk about another team that is in the NACL that did not perform as well as we were expecting. Maryville University, currently sitting in last place with a 1-5 record. They finally were able to salvage a win against Fear in their last game of the week. But this was a team that dominated through the qualifiers. They kept all 5 of their players, of course, and we saw them at CELO. We saw them here. How many games does Maryville need to win next week in order for them to, call it a success? Or how many games do you think that they can win? Because you look at you want to read off their opponents for the
I was going to say, if you're wondering why we're asking this question, right? They play Supernova, Wildcard, and AoE next week. A bunch of teams that we sort of expect to be at the middle/bottom middle of the table. So for Maryville, a team that, Grapes, I think I speak for both of us when I say we expected them to be a mid-table team. They want to prove that they can contend against this roster. So how many games can Maryville take this next week? Grapes, I can start it off if you want to. I think they need to take at least 3 to really start showing me something. They hadn't been scrimming after CELO. They're taking a much-needed break. They're probably feeling a little bit defeated from their loss on Tuesday to St. Thomas, which is completely understandable. So now, they're going to have had a week to recharge. They're coming back, ready to go. And in their game against Cincinnati Fear as well that they won, that was the Maryville that I knew. That game, for anyone that watched it, that was a Maryville game, right? So I still think there is a chance for this team. I don't think they're doomed at all, but I do want to see them win 3 games.
I think 3 is a good number to stick at, especially because these are teams that are not necessarily the top dogs, right? It's not that they're bad, but you said it was what? Supernova, Wildcard, and AoE, right?
And AoE,
so they have teams around the middle of the pack. If you can perform at a mediocre level, at a 500 level against the teams in the middle, you generally could be expecting to finish around that middle of the pack. And I think that's a good expectation for Maryville overall, because remember, they did lose that series 3-2 in the promotion tournament to AoE as that team that everyone thought was going to dominate the qualifiers and then make their way into the NACL easily. AoE was the 9th place team last year. So that's a middle of the pack team. So if you think about it, AoE should probably be around Maryville, around the middle of the pack. So they should generally be a middle of the pack team, judging from our expectations. And so I think 3 wins should be expected. And overall, there was some positives in their losses, but definitely playing 2 patches behind and not playing a lot of scrims, that definitely does hurt you.
I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. I will say, I think if they fail to meet 3 wins, I think if they get swept by anybody and don't also sweep, I will be concerned. If they win only one or two games, I'm going to be a little bit worried for Maryville. I think they really need to show, like, hey, last week we were down. It's an off week, but we got our confidence win. Now we're back. We're scrimming. We're ready to go. Week 2, baby, and we're contending against these teams. I will be concerned for them if they get swept by somebody. So that will be like my hot take there, is I think they need to win at least 3.
Yeah, we talked to Jerry in the post-game interview for that series, and he said, yeah, we know it's Cope, but that we haven't practiced at all, and we really are not playing good, but he was excited to get back in the lab and start getting ready for week number 2, because that's another interesting thing. Maryville, they're a bunch of collegiate kids, so now they have the summer off. Like, they can really focus on league, and I know that players like Jerry and Zyko are going to be super motivated to try and improve this summer.
And it's worth noting too, like, I know it is a little bit cope to say this team hasn't been practicing and stuff, but like, y'all need to understand, Maryville was fucking grinding. All the collegiate teams were grinding for CELO. So it is understandable that they kind of felt like they needed a week off, and they weren't totally dialed in this past week. So I am, like I said, I'm willing to give them that benefit of the doubt moving into week 2.
we could take maybe we could check in next week. Well, if they perform like way under expectations, and that maybe will be a headline for our next episode. But before we close things out on our headline side, let's talk about Evil Geniuses, because they made an announcement a couple of days ago where not only have they revamped a lot of their LCS team with, of course, Revenge, Armeo, Unforgiven, and Ayla coming in, they also announced that Sheiden, EGC jungler, will be serving as kind of that 6th man on this team. Now, we saw EG experiment with the 6-man roster back in 2021, where Contracts and Svenskeren kind of swap back and forth. This is really interesting, though, because I know Sheiden's a bit of a controversial player in terms of like how good people think he is these days. What are your thoughts about Sheiden becoming the 6th man for EG?
Well, so here's my thought, is Sheiden may be controversial. However, when EG signed Armeo to be the starting jungler, I, among many people in the community, was like, what the fuck? Like, I honestly couldn't believe it. Because Armeo...
Before you go forward, I'm going to push back on you a little bit there, because I think Armeo is really good, and I think he is a top 10 jungler in North America. I think he's a top 10 North American jungler. He won like 3 proving grounds in a row or something, and I feel like probably was deserving of an opportunity to play in the league. The only reason like he wasn't was maybe because of his age, or like already having opportunities at that level. But if you're just trying to like pick a good team and a good leader, I think Armeo is a good fit here.
So here's my thing though, is I do think Armeo is pretty good. I think Armeo could still play at an LCS level. Like, it's not that I think he's garbage, but it is still, to me, a bit of a WTF pickup, because Armeo has also, like, not risen to that next level, and that is, as a GM sometimes, put my GM hat on, like, do I take that chance on the next talent? So, hearing this announcement that Sheiden is going to be on a 6-man roster, like, it makes a bit more sense to me, because now EG, if they have Armeo, they can try to be good with him, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but if things start to struggle a little bit, that's when they can bring in their X Factor player. So that's sort of my thoughts on the whole thing. Graves, I know you have opinions as well.
Yeah. So again, I think that Kelsey, of course, watched a lot of Academy when she was the producer on the broadcast, and so she got the chance to watch a lot of Armeo, and so she definitely understands the value that he brings to a team. And now paired back up again with Ayla, I think that could be a good formula for EG to start working well. But I do think that this is a very interesting situation that EG have put themselves in, because Sheiden has been very inconsistent, even this week in Challengers. But you think back to spring as well, like had that crazy first couple of weeks, and then kind of fell off and was very inconsistent. Even this week in the NACL, the series that EG lost, they went 4-2 this week, by the way, against Wildcard, that guy was inting a couple of times, just like randomly getting caught out, just randomly dying. Had some good moments as well, but like sometimes you're just like, man, Sheiden, what the hell are you doing, man? But then the next day against AoE, he absolutely popped off, right? He had the Kindred game, he had the Nocturne game as well, and so I think that if Sheiden is able to reel it back a little bit sometimes, because I think that's his biggest like weakness, is that sometimes he thinks that he's like way stronger than he is. It could create like an interesting yin and yang situation for Evil Geniuses, where you have Armeo as like the supportive jungler that can like play Sejuani, can play tanks, and then if you want somebody who just gets all the resources, wants to carry, give me the Graves, give me the Kindred, you can throw Sheiden in there. It provides a little bit of a different look for this team, and so I can see the world where this works. However, 6-man rosters are very risky, and most of the time you just end up playing with 5 of them. So we're going to have to continue to watch this to see if it actually does mean anything.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that Sheiden even plays, like, as we're talking about all this. What I will say, Sheiden may be an Inter sometimes. That is true. However, when has a jungler ever been great without being an Inter sometimes? That is the question that I posit to you. The best junglers and supports are Inter sometimes, and Sheiden does have a lot of individual talent. So I do hope, we're saying like we have no idea if Sheiden even ends up playing. I really hope the plan is to give Sheiden a shot, because I do think this is a player that could shine at the next level.
Yeah, I think I agree as well. And giving him this opportunity to serve as like maybe getting some time in the LCS while also continuing to just get reps and challengers, I think is maybe a good career trajectory, and seeing if he's ready for that role. Because if he does play well, I think 9 times out of 10, EG is just promoting Sheiden to the EG like LCS roster for 2024. So maybe a little bit of a trial run. We'll see how it ends up working out. The LCS will be starting the day that we do release this episode, so that could be a pretty interesting thing to watch for.
True.
The
on Wednesdays
lineups.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's going to do it for our headlines of part 1 of this episode. When we shift things over to the part 2, we're going to have a little bit of an interesting segment. We had our draft for last spring. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Stay tuned. We are back with a bit of a deviation from our draft episode that did pretty well back in the spring split. We have the NACLQ players lined up here once again, but we're going to be approaching things a little bit differently. Not drafting them as like a League of Legends team, but instead trying to craft the most prototypical amateur team that can take us to the next level and promote into the NACL. Hawk, let's explain this NACL Expansion Draft, which I think we're going to call it.
Yeah, you all have to forgive the pretty scuffed assets, of course. We came up with this like right before the show started, so it didn't have time to make anything super fancy. But that's just the salty Runback way. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drafting players similarly to the way that we did last split. However, instead of doing it in like a League of Legends style tournament draft, there's going to be no bans, and we're picking players based on certain categories. So each of us will have to pick a player that is a veteran, a rookie, a collegiate player, a sub, and, of course, we need to pick just any sort of wild card. So it can be any player that we want. The catch is once a player on a team has been picked, that player's entire team cannot be picked from anymore. So, for example, if I pick Neo to be my veteran, then nobody on Mirage Alliance can be picked after that. So
you could do some griefing. It's definitely something that's possible.
Yeah. So that's how it's going to work. Grapes, how do we want to decide who goes first? Like a coin flip? I feel like there's a pretty substantial advantage to being first, but...
Oh, there's one player that I'm looking at that could be pretty good. Anyway, before we get into that, we do have to like still draft a team. So it's not just like, oh, pick 5 players.
Yes.
Like, they have to actually all be assigned to the roles that they play. Subs, we generally will know that like what position some of these subs do play, so we can stick them there. If there are like situations where we're like forced into picking players like off role or something, well, that just kind of is what it is, and that just means you kind of are gonna lose the game. So there's a lot of strategy here. A lot of strategy
that at least I have had zero time to prep for, so we're really gonna be winging it.
What I'm doing, but
no,
okay.
We're gonna be having fun with it. But it's a way to highlight players, highlight teams.
The last thing is that if a team is knocked off the board, it's knocked off the board for both of us. So not only can Hawk not choose Mirage Alliance after Neo gets selected, I also can't do that. But yeah, I think we can. Honestly, you know what? I'll let you go first. I don't
let
really,
me go first.
Yeah, I think flipping a coin is too complicated. You got this one.
Too complicated. All right, that's fair. Okay. Well, if I'm going first, Grapes, I think I got to do it. My example that I gave, I think I'm taking the bottom lane of Mirage Alliance, I think I'm taking Neo off the board, my friend.
All right. Well, I guess I should have seen that coming.
I mean,
Neo.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good.
He's the best player in the tournament, right?
Yes.
Like pretty far and away.
I think pretty non-negotiably. Like, I don't know. There's
like maybe Chad, but
yeah, but that's also on the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the best player. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a team off the board, which not good for me.
Oh, and for those that are wondering, I'll be blue and Grace will be red. So if you are like skipping around or whatever, you'll be able to see who we've picked.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the strategy comes into
That's
play.
the extent of my thought process about this game. As I knew if I was going first, I was picking Neo.
so now it gets interesting. Right?
Yeah, right. Now we're off the cuff. We're off book.
All right. Taking a look around, I need rookie, sub, collegiate player, and a veteran. I think the veteran is probably the highest value.
The most value, yeah.
That's generally going to be where some of your really good players are. However, a lot of them are now off the board.
Yeah. Do we want to agree? Oh wait, okay. We've not agreed on this. Are we picking like in order, or can you pick anything? Because
you can pick anything.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And as I take a look at it, speaking of, I think I'm going to go and take Winthrop off the board right now by selecting Denethor as my top laner.
Yep.
For collegiate.
And this is your collegiate player, yeah.
Yes.
That is a great pick. I actually was eyeing up Denethor as well for my next pick, so that makes a lot of sense. So Winthrop's gone. We're just knocking off the top seeds.
I feel like it could get different after this, though, so I'm not too worried just yet.
Yeah. Oh, now this is like really interesting.
As you're thinking, I want to highlight Denethor again. This guy played so well in CLOL. Very excited to see him continue his career as part of Winthrop, who I guess we mentioned last episode, but now playing with Trickster. And Conveying was actually in the mid lane, but Sword is also part of this team. So
yeah,
could be cool. Could be cool to watch. They did drop to TA, but they will be your like the number one seed in their group. So what are you thinking, Hawk?
I think
I see like a dirty move that you could go for right now, and I'm really hoping you don't see it.
A dirty move?
Yeah.
I don't see that. This is tough. Shoot. Oh, I see the dirty move. I'm doing it, I think. Wait, yeah. I'm going to take my sub, and I'm taking Fan.
Oh, that's also a fair move. That wasn't what I had in mind. But
oh, really?
Very good choice to have a very good jungler on your team now. Yeah, Fan is good. He's serving as a sub on this CCG roster, but mostly as like an assistant coach. So
especially because we took off some of the best subs in the first 2 rounds there, so I don't want to get spicy with it,
Yeah. Okay, the sub pool has dropped off a little bit from there, and especially since I selected my top laner, because I think the next best option for sub would probably be Jisung, but we'll have to continue to take a look.
There's some others.
There are some others. However, I'm very scared right now. As you take a look, so you already have probably like 2 of the best players off the board, and I probably should have remembered what I did in the spring split and taken Fan with my first pick.
You flamed the shit out of me for not doing it.
Yeah, I probably should. I kind of forgot about.
Although I don't know, like after he mental boomed you with the Amumu incident, I can understand if you turned coat.
No, I kind of just forgot he was there. Not gonna lie. Okay.
Is that really not the dirty move you were looking at?
No, it's not. And actually, I'll just do it right now. I'm taking Scooped in the ADC role.
As
I
your
thought
wild
what
card?
you could have done. Scoop will be my wild card here, because what you could have done is taken Kryra as your rookie, because I think he's like a pretty admirable rookie, and then that locks me out from picking Scoop. And so I think the ADC pool kind of thins out from here.
I was thinking about taking Kryra as my rookie. I will give you that for sure. However, I don't need to take Kryra as my rookie. I'm going to take Cryogen as my rookie. The support for Aporia that I talked about earlier on the episode.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about what you thought about him? Because I didn't get a chance to watch all of Vaporia's games in full.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember that. I'm trying to remember that game super well, but basically, Aporia like demolished bot lane. That's really all I have to say. And I like Enthrall dropped a nuke in multiple games in the open qualifier, and Cryro is doing a really good job of facilitating Enthralled. Who Graves, I know we both think Enthralled is really good. So yeah, I wish I. Now I'm trying to remember what Cryogen actually played champion-wise. Let me actually look that up while you're thinking here.
All right, I think I'm chilling. I think I got a good team. You might have you might have Neon Fan, but I think I could put together a pretty solid roster all around.
Oh, they played right. It was Neela Yumi in the game that Smax and I casted, which was pretty disgusting. Which I know it's not impressive playing Yumi, but I was pretty impressed by just the bot lane domination.
Nice. Very good. So you have Neo, Cryogen as your bot lane, Fnatic in the jungle. You need some solo laners. And because of that, so you have your wild card left and your collegiate player left, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Wild card collegiate, yep.
Okay. So I'm going to screw you over maybe a little bit here and reunite the bot lane to Scooped and Plux, because that is my sub pick in the support role, and now you cannot select Dragoon or messages in the mid lane.
Okay. That is a little upsetting, I'm not going to lie. But it's okay, because that's not who I was. Well, actually, I think. So wait, what do you have left? You have Rookie and...
So now I have Rookie and Collegiate left.
Rookie and Collegiate. Well, you have Collegiate. You took Denethor.
Oh, sorry. I have Rookie and Veteran left then.
Right. Or technically you have Wild Card. Scoop's a Veteran. Yeah, we're getting a little confused. It's all good. It's all good.
I feel that generally, like, I'll pick a Collegiate and somebody else.
This is... Man, that's a little upsetting that you took Plux off the board like that. All right, well, I'm taking Kachi while I can as my collegiate player. I think that needs to be done.
Good choice.
Yeah. Just because looking at the top lane pool, Bajani's really the only collegiate top laner here. So
you blocked that Denethor.
Whoops. So I wanna make sure. I would rather have Kachu, I think, and yeah, Kachu's pretty fucking good. So
all right. So I need a jungler and a mid laner now.
And I think you made the right move picking. Oh, I might have messed up picking my rookie so early.
I do think that Kachu is good. I'm excited to see him play a little bit more with Team Envision on a little bit more of a competitive roster, because things got a little bit funky with TA in the spring split, and so now I'm happy that he gets a chance to really shine.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have good things to say about Kachu.
Okay, so looking again, you have 4 players. You just need a top laner now. So I can try to lock you out of whoever the next best top laner is, because you're looking for a... You just have your wild card left, so you can pick any of the top laners.
I just have my wild card.
Right, okay. Ooh.
Oh, I fucked up. I definitely fucked up, Grapes. I see a way better thing that I could have done. Damn it.
I'm like, okay, I'm debating between a couple of options right now, and a large part of it. Oh, okay. All right, this is fine. I'm taking City Woody jungle.
That's something I was expecting. I think what I should have done, I should have picked Daption as my collegiate player.
Yeah.
Instead of Cryogen as my rookie. I'm regretting that, because Daption's kind of the fucking goat. Okay, that means I have to take my bud, right? Like, I don't...
Yeah, you have Geiger, you have Izo, you have JJK.
Oh, Izo's down there. I'm taking Izo. Thank you.
Right.
I was completely passing over Izo. Yeah, give me Izo. My fucking boy. Gave a great interview on CeeLo Files.
Yes, that is very true.
Shout out Izo. Yeah. All right. I'm happy with this.
Not bad. So you have your full roster selected right now, right? You have Izo. Wait,
Izo, Fan, Kachu, Neo,
Izo.
and Cryogen.
I will say you got 2 good players, and then the rest of them, well, some are pretty average. I think Izo's like pretty good, maybe not like the top of the pool, and then you got two newer people that might have to try to show up a little bit hard.
Let's see who you get mid here.
Well,
because
I need a rookie, right? So I just have to take Klexo.
Oh, you just take Klexo? Yeah, he's the only one, right?
I think he's the only rookie, and I saw that he was like available, and so I was probably just gonna pick him up. I was gonna actually, like coming in, I was thinking like, oh, who's like a sleeper rookie that I could pick up? I thought K2, on CB Gaming like played really well in the game that I got to cast of him. I think he played Lee Sin, and yeah, had a really good game. But I'll give it to Klexo here.
Cool. We'll give it to Klexo. All right. So the rosters are, so for Grapes, you got Denethor, City Witty, Klexo, Scooped, and Plux. I've got Izo, Fnatic, Kachu, Neo, and Cryogen. Grapes, who do you like better here and why?
Oh man, I think actually this is if we like actually play this out, it'd be a really fun game.
I think it should be a great game.
It should be a great game.
My one thing with yours, I don't know Klexo's playstyle too well, but I'm a little worried you've got too many cooks in the kitchen with Denethor, City Witty, and Scooped.
Klexo is pretty like he plays a lot of melees. Can be flashy. I think he could like go back to like Lissandra or something though. I think he'd be okay.
Because all I know on my team, Izo and Fnatic will be willing to give Kachu and Neo everything.
No, it's more like Neo gets everything.
Neo would get everything. That's all I'm saying,
I do think it'd be fun because I think Scooped is probably the ADC that I'd want the most if I had to play against Neo. And so
Scooped is the second best ADC, I think.
You reunite Scooped and Plux. You have City Witty, who has been all right at tier 3. Denethor, of course, played pretty well in CeeLo. I think he versus Izo would be pretty fun. And the mid lane is like 2 pretty young players that could be flashy, could not be.
Yeah.
So I think overall my team might be a little bit more well-rounded. However, you have Neo.
Yeah, I was about to say. I feel like you have a stronger team, like as far as like top to bottom, but I think I'm like stacked in the right places almost.
Yeah.
Also, I really like. I'm not sure how Klexo plays that much.
He was good.
Yeah,
I remember his Irelia.
I know Klexo. So Klexo, we're considering a rookie because he's never made the group stage. Klexo has been on a couple of teams that have tried previously. It was on a couple of Lotus rosters, I think on a Conviction roster here or there. So some of those teams Klexo's played for in the past, but not made group stage. So we're considering them a rookie now.
Yeah, I think this is good. Okay, do you want to try something fun because we have some extra time?
Yeah, we got some time.
Let's make a third team with the scraps and see like if we really messed up because like if we can make if we can make a team with these pieces better than the ones that are already off the board, then the ones that we have, like that means that we should have just that means you probably did something wrong, right?
I like that. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I think. Ooh, wait. Actually, I don't know what I'm thinking. Hang on. Okay, Grapes.
I think there's a good amount of subs here that actually could be.
Yeah, I think our sub is either Nem9 or Prank. I think we take our sub first. Which one of these two do you like?
Ooh.
Because the way I see it, we could take like Prank and Doxa, or we could take like Aaron and Nem9. That's sort of what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, that is fair. I'll raise you something. I'll raise you another interesting, an interesting scenario as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have Good Boy as well as an AD carry, which means that we could pick one of the top laners, the mid laners. I do think that top lane probably looks like the weakest role at the moment out of the players that we have
with
left.
You on that.
But if we wanted to go like Good Boy here, then we could have like Good Boy, Doxa, and Mabud. Or no, not Mabud, but like Doxa and Geiger. Doxa or Decoy or something. So actually, no. I think that we have to take...
Okay, so here's the question. Do you like Good Boy, Doxa, Geiger, or do you like Aaron, Nem9, and... Ooh, yeah, it does get a little...
Yeah.
Like Sunlight? We could take Sunlight.
Oh, gosh.
Or Decoy. Decoy's pretty good.
Garen has kind of been a thing that a lot of NACL teams have been playing, so maybe Sunlight could do good here. If you have a team, by the way, that you would select out of these players, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We can see if we did a better job.
Yeah. Tell us who you're taking for. Like, did we fuck up at any point? Please let us know.
Yeah.
I think I like taking either. I think I like taking Doxa Prank or Aaron Nem9 over Good Boy. Or we could go Doxa Geiger Good Boy. Wait, we already talked about that.
We also have like. Okay, we have. I think one of either Doxa or Aaron has to be taken here because I think they're the two strongest people left. Other than that, so that takes Komodo out. So we can't take any of the other Komodo players.
Yeah. Rip the other Komodo players. Rip Winthrop Light with like the old Winthrop players.
First of all, what other rookies are we? We have to also think about like what other rookies do we have left because I don't know if we have many left.
Baz is here. Diesel, I believe we were counting.
Oh right, okay. I think we go Excelsis here then because.
Oh yeah. We could go Excelsis.
Right, so we go Excelsis as our rookie jungler because the rest of the junglers are like are pretty good, but there's other options and the rookies in the other areas don't look as good. And so
yeah.
I think that's where we go for jungle.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
We take Aaron here because Aaron is our collegiate player, and we're also running out of those.
That is true. We have the entire Young Buffaloes roster to work with as well. So somebody like Danny could be in play. Somebody like Sahori could be in play. RBM as well. RBM's not.
But RBM's a jungler.
Yeah.
And we have Excelsis.
Right. We have Clyde as well. Clyde and Pluto could come.
Yeah.
through.
Okay. Maybe there are plenty of.
Okay.
This is hard.
I think we do. Okay. Here's my team. You want to hear it?
Okay. Hit me up.
Prank, Excelsis. So Prank is our sub. And then we have Doxa as our mid laner. Evan RL as our veteran. And then like Cerulean as our like wild card or whatever it was. Does that work?
That does work. Wait, ooh, that's pretty good. I didn't see Cerulean sitting down there. Hang on.
Yeah. Okay, so Prank. Okay, let's map this out. Prank becomes our sub, right?
Yeah.
In this situation, Doxa becomes our wild card. Evan becomes our veteran. And then what are we missing? Oh, we need a collegiate player. Shoot. Okay. Damn. Wait, I thought that was gonna work.
Prank not a collegiate? Does he not play for GVU still?
He does, but I think...
Oh, but he's a sub.
Yeah, he's our sub.
Oh, fuck. Oh, we can't do it. Cerulean's not on a collegiate team, right? I don't think so.
No. So the other option is to take Danny, Aaron, and then Pluto or something.
Okay. What if we go... Okay. Meslo's collegiate, Danny's collegiate. What if we just did the exact same thing, Prank, but instead of Doxa, we took a different mid laner and we took Aaron?
Yeah. That is fair.
So we go Prank, Excelsis, like Zhao Danny, Aaron, and Cerulean.
You can't take both of them. So it has to be it has to be Pluto, Kleider, or Pacus. Or it has to be Kleider, Pacus then.
We can take Pacus. Pacus is good. Pacus played really terribly in the game I casted against Aporia, but I felt like that was out of character.
Oh. Okay. I like Clyde as well, though, which...
I think I like Pacus a little bit better, but there's some really good supports left, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I know we're not talking about Pluto, but Pluto's also good.
Either of these four would be fine. So we don't have to worry about that too much.
Okay. Are we taking Prank, for sure?
We're taking Prank, yeah. Because there's the other subs. Like we could take them 9 as well. Like that could be another option.
But I think
there's no like the top laners. I think we could. There's better options from.
I
mid.
think there's better options in mid than there are in top at this
Yeah.
moment in time. Okay. Yeah, Prank, for anyone that doesn't know, top laner for Grandview, Grapes' fucking boy.
My boy.
Like, owner of the MEC.
Yep. Okay, so that's our sub, and then that's our rookie. It sucks because Excelsis is also a collegiate player, so that's a little sad. We actually have 3 we're gonna have 3 collegiate players on our team because the other 2.
That's fine. As long as they check other boxes. As long as they check other boxes.
Let's go with. Okay, so one of Doctor Aaron. We just
we gotta pick. We just gotta pick. I think. Okay, looking at these 2 bot lanes though, I think we got to go Aaron.
Yeah. Okay. We have to go Aaron. We could go Evan instead because Evan's pretty solid.
Evan is solid.
Could go like. We could go. It's either Doxa, Evan, Pockus, or Doxa, Evan, Cerulean. Oh, we don't have a collegiate player then. Shoot.
Yeah, I think we have to take Aaron for collegiate unless we're taking Clyde.
Aaron. Oh gosh, this is hard. Okay, so Hori's also a collegiate player.
I think let's take Aaron. We're taking Aaron.
Okay, we're taking Aaron. Sorry, Doxa. I was trying my best.
I know. It's tough. It's hard. Okay, and then we go
Danny and Pockus then, right? That works.
Danny and Pockus. I think that's pretty good.
All right. Well, I think we could definitively say that both of our teams are better than this one, but
yes.
We got some of the boys back together. We got the GVU squad. We got some UCI fam in the mid jungle, and we got Pockus as well holding down the fort.
I feel like somehow all roads lead back to GVU and amateur. I don't know how this keeps happening, but and rip Keelix's grandpa gamers didn't end up taking anyone.
I know. In the game that we had to pick veterans, like
we didn't pick the guys that have been playing since like 2013.
Yeah. So Aaron. So let's double check right now, because we have Prank as our sub, Excelsis as our rookie, Danny as our collegiate player, Aaron as our veteran, or Aaron as our wild card, and Pockus as our veteran. Then.
Yeah. Yeah, because Aaron collegiate, Zhao, Danny, and Pockus are our veteran / wild cards.
Excelsis okay, that works as well. Yeah, because
Excelsis is rookie and Prank is.
We picked 4. We picked 4 CeeLo players.
We did pick quite a few CeeLo players
on this team. So does go to show that CeeLo players are prevalent here in the scene, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. Which. Apparently, did you hear the thing about CeeLo? We could do another headline right now. Riot wants to outsource CeeLo.
This is the weirdest part 2 of
This is the weirdest part 2 in the history of the show.
Yes, they announced that like CeeLo is going to be going to like a different partner for next year. I was just confused if that means that like they're not going to be working with Battlefy anymore, or if that means that like everything is going to be.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well.
Because technically they have offloaded the production of CeeLo for everything except for top 8 / top 4 for the last like few years. So
yeah, I was unclear on that as well, because I was trying to see if they were like totally cleaning their hands of it. Like I could totally see Riot just outsourcing it and still being like, "But we want to do top 4 live." Like I think they should do that. I think that was a lot of fun personally, but
bring us back if you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, but.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this episode.
Yeah,
unless you have anything else to
just
add.
for like to maybe close out what we have on our screen. We kind of like found our way there in a really roundabout way. So Grapes and I, we picked the teams, at least one collegiate, veteran, wild card, rookie, and sub, based on the teams that were available. So we're basically like, these are all the players that we really like in certain roles. My team was Izo, Fnatic, Kachu, Neo, and Cryogen. Grapes's was Denethor, City, Witty, Klexo, Scooped, and Plux. Then we picked a third team for shits and giggles that was of Pranks, Excelsis, Zhao, Danny, Aaron, and Pockus. So I think that just goes to show there's a lot of good players, because we also, again, couldn't pick multiple players from the same team. So we really had to get creative, and honestly, like, these are pretty hype
we got
rosters,
three
I think.
good teams. Yeah. I think if we saw any of these three, even the green team, like if this green team like became an OQ team, like I'd be like, yeah, I'll watch them. You know what I mean?
I would seed them like 10.
Yeah, I probably see them like 10 to 11 or something. Yeah, something like that.
So I would be hype.
I guess something that we didn't before this is, again, very weird episode.
This is a weird part too.
I guess we never like explained why we like decided to go with these categories, but I think in general, like, we're picking a little bit out of like what we have here in NACLQ. This is like tier 3, so like a lot of different people are coming in from different places. You know, you got your rookies, you got the veterans trying to make it back, and then you got like some of the college players. You got and then like some wild cards and then also like people on the sub roster. So it's a nice way to highlight like some of the crazy like different pathways people have taken to get to this place, and it will be exciting to see them face off against each other this Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's really fun getting to highlight the names, and it goes to show how much talent there is on all these teams, being able to find players that we like on every single one of the 16. But that's going to do it for us here today, I do believe. It was definitely a bit of a scatter part 2, but hopefully still entertaining nonetheless. Informative maybe a little bit about the types of names in the qualifier scene, because the group stage starts on Saturday. It'll be on Saturday and Sunday every single week on the LCS Challengers and the Path to the LCS Twitch channels, flipping over to Rally Cry once we hit 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific before the Challengers League starts. So go hang out with Grapes and all the other great qualifier talent on the show. Have fun. Watch CBLOL as well if you're super cool. But yeah, let us know who you would have picked in these situations, who your favorite collegiate players and veterans are in the scene. And if you think that Neo first pick was dumb, you can take it with a grain of salt. I've been Hawk. That's been Grapes. Have a good night, everyone.
It wasn't very dumb.